Alright, hi everyone, it's Ray. I was asked tonight to do a build tutorial on the IGO-W for a quad micro coil with cotton wick. So let's go ahead and get to it. Let me put you down here so we can see what I'm doing. Alright, we're going to do the quad micro coil using 26 gauge Kanthal. Alright, so first things first, let's make the coils. Got a bunch of them made already. I did this build just the other night, but let's go ahead and do it again. Why not? Builds are fun. So first things first, let's get our 4 lengths of Kanthal. There we go. Alright, this doing micro coils is not as hard as it seems. I started making these fairly quick. Thing I use is a 1.5 millimeter Allen wrench that I use for my Allen screws in my AGI. Seems to make a pretty good coil for what I'm trying to reach here. So the way I look at it, you know, you have your post here, so you're gonna have 1, 2, 3, 4 coils. All right, I like to go under for my negative and over for my positive. So hopefully you guys can see this okay. So I started off here, make my first 2 wraps real close, nice and tight. And I kind of push those all together and bring this one down. Continue wrapping the rest of them. So we got 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Alright. After you get your 7, kind of push it all nice and tight together like that. I like to leave it on my Allen wrench. It makes it easier when you're inserting them into your post holes. Giggity. Alright. So, here we go. Into the negative. And stop being fussy. My hands are all filled with juice. And into the positive. Alright. Insert, now with micro coils, I like to leave, I'm like trying to act like you can see my face right now. I like to leave the coil as close as I can to the edge because I want it to be right up against my air holes. So let's get that in a little bit further. Alright, so there we go. Tighten down my negative. And tighten down my positive. The reason why I'm doing this now is I want to test these coils. I kind of straighten it out. You want to test your coils before you get on to making the rest of them, so you know what you're working with here. So that way you're not going into like scary sub-ohm areas here. Alright? So, sorry you're not going to be able to see my ohm reader here, but just doing a quick test. It looks like this is 1 ohm, exactly. Perfect, that's what we're looking for, 1 ohm. Now another thing I do for each individual coil, and this is the time consuming part, right? Let's plug it back in. Get the fire, because I don't have a torch, so I'm not torching these things. So this is how I build it. Because if you look, not sure if you could see it all that well, but they still have little gaps in between your coils. So light it up, get it nice and hot, and then take some needle nose, press it together to try and get rid of all the gaps in between your coils. Very important to do this step, otherwise your microcoils will not function properly. We want these microcoils to work perfect. Plus it looks better, it looks clean. But this is how you make your microcoil without a torch. It's really not that difficult. Just a little bit more time consuming than your average build. Oops. Try it again. Alright, good enough. Alright. Lock this back up. On to the next one. Go. And again, I apologize. This will probably end up being a fairly long video. But this is a time-consuming process. So same thing. 1, 2. Squeeze it all nice and tight together like that. You don't have any big loops in your coils. 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And now I'm going to do the exact same thing that I just did. I like to straighten out my legs a little bit. This makes it easier to insert into the post holes. Again, double check, make sure it's nice. See, a nice, decently wrapped coil. Hey, back in there. Alright. We need to loosen these back up again, right? Right. Let's go ahead and loosen these all the way up, because you got a lot of Kanthal running through your post holes on this build. Let's go ahead, do this. Not the easiest thing to do on camera, but we'll do it anyway. Get in there. There we go. Alright. Now that one is in. My other coils, you know, you'll have to mess with this a little bit to get it right, but there we go. And you get a big cluster of wires messing around in here, but we'll deal with that a little bit later. Now that I got these two in, I can kind of mess with this. Get this in the right position. Good enough. Let's tighten down the negative post on this side. Go. And again, kind of get your coil straight, nice and flat in there. Makes it easy when you're doing your cotton. Alright, now this side's all out of whack, right? So let's go ahead and adjust this. Bring it back down. And we'll cut off my excess wire here, because we don't need it anymore. Actually, see if we can do this wonderful trick that, oh, come on. See, you gotta make sure those screws go nice and tight. There we go. There's one. And there. Alright, so now those are clean. And a way to do with these positive post ones, because you're going to have so many strands of Kanthal running through there. I'm going to bend them off to the side. Really, you can snip these off now. Doesn't have to be, we'll wait on that. Okay, let's go ahead and screw down the positive again. Same exact thing that we did last time. Make sure that your extra wires aren't touching anything else, because we want this to be perfect. Alright. Okay, same process. Fire it. Squeeze it tight. Fire it. Squeeze it tight. Hopefully this is all on camera, or I'm just wasting my time. And this will allow your micro coils to fire properly. When you watch, as they light up, it'll light up from the middle out, middle out. Alright, that's how your micro coils are going to fire. And don't worry about the long legs on the micro coils. I found that that works in your favor, because like I said, it gets it closer to your air holes, and you're not going to get those like crazy long legs getting all hot spotted on you and messing the whole thing up. Being stubborn. Go ahead, pop these off. It makes it easier when you're dealing with a little bit longer wire when you're doing this part. Alright. So again, let's adjust. Use the Allen to get in there. Kind of wiggle it around. It will go through eventually. And again, you just tighten this all up when you're done, but this is just for now to kind of get everything out of the way. So there we go. There's that. That looks good. Tighten this one just a little bit more. We got a little out of whack here. Alright, time for coil number 3. Be nice if I did this beforehand, huh? Then you wouldn't have to watch me do every single coil. But, oh well, bear with me. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm just trying to make sure everything is uniform. You want your coils to be matching every single one. If they don't match, you're not going to fire right. And hopefully with this build, if it is done correctly, should come out to 0.2 ohms, which is not the safest ohms to be working with, but we're also running 4 coils here with a very thick gauge wire. Alright, this one, let's go ahead and insert this one again. What am I doing? I'm losing track. Alright. Undo the positive again. Again, remember, all the way open. It needs to all the way, because you're putting way too much wire in here. Putting that 4th one in is very difficult. Oh, look at that. No problem, no problem. Alright, so there's that one. And then once I'm putting the 2nd coil on, I kind of run them through both, so that way they stay in the same general area. Alright, so there's that one. I'm going to fire these all once I make them all, instead of forcing you to sit through that whole horrible process. But I do need this back in my Allen wrench. Alright. This one, start down here. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Yikes. That one's ugly. You get an ugly coil, just kind of go back on it and tighten it back up again. There we go. Alright, straighten out the legs. This one's really important. This one you want to be like almost perfect, because it is not going to be easy to get this one in there. Alright, here we go. Number 4. Get that, do that post hole. Kind of have to force this one a little bit more. It's probably easier if you're using like 28 gauge, 30, anything a little bit thinner than 26. 26 is not the easiest stuff to work with when you're building quads. And it's pushing out this coil here. Get that wire out of the way. So this goes back in. Almost there. Okay. So now we got all these in. Let's go tighten this all the way down. And your center post, really important. Make sure that gets tight as you can get it. So that way all those wires are getting good connectivity. Let's go ahead and snap all this excess off. Now how close I'm getting to 20 minutes here, but we'll see. I want to make sure I'm making a nice thorough video for you. And you know, when you're messing with your rebuilds, make sure that your button is not engaged, because you will accidentally bang it on something, light it up, short it out, burn yourself. All of these things I've done, and it is not fun. I've learned over my countless builds to be a little bit more careful. But it still happens. What are you going to do? And again, word of advice, if you're going to build a quad coil, make sure you have something to read your ohms. Make sure you have something so you're not going to blow yourself up. Blowing yourself up is not fun. That, you know, your battery's blowing out. So make sure you have the proper batteries. Make sure you got an ability to read your ohms. I'm just cleaning up the excess wire here. It's very important to not have a bunch of wire hanging around you, causing shorts. Alright, so let's go ahead and straighten all this out. Again, use your Allen key, bend it, get it lined up with the other one. This is not being very easy to deal with right now. Now it's good. That one's good. Alright, before I fire this, I need to test it again. This time I'll test with the cap on. Makes it easy for me. Right. And this looks like it is going to fire at 0.3. Okay, so not all my coils are exact, but close enough. But it's not shorting. Let's go ahead and get the rest of these coils in shape here. And lift it up just a little bit so it's easier to work with and out of the way. Now you'll notice that it now takes a little bit longer to fire. You got a lot of power going into these 4 coils. I'm just trying to make all the coils uniform. Nice, tight little micro coils. Okay, that one looks good. Down. And that's why you use the Allen key, so your coils don't get all out of whack. I'm kind of screwy, but it'll do. Again, same thing. Get them nice and hot. Push it together. And since this one kind of got screwy on me here, let me work on this one again. Let's see how they're firing here. Pulse it. There you go. They're all lighting pretty uniformly. This coil is not coming out so well. That's probably why I'm at a 0.3 instead of a 0.2. But whatever. For the sake of the video, it works. So, my battery is not fully charged, which is a good thing. You don't want to use a fully charged battery when you're dealing with this. Alright. Let's go ahead and... Youch, that's hot. Let's not do that yet. Cool it down, and using cotton as a wick. So I kind of take a little piece of cotton here, roll it up nice and tight. And we'll run this through the micro coils. This can be a little frustrating. Not only are you trying to get it through the one, you're trying to get it through both at the same time. Another reason why that Allen key comes in handy. There we go. Try and get a nice thick amount of wick in there. Alright. There's one side. Cut my cotton close to there. That. Now I'll do this side. It's a lot easier dealing with cotton compared to silica and all that, because now you can just feed it through. You don't have to try and get, like, 1 millimeter silica or eco wool. And you can get it through the tiniest little coils. And when you don't like it anymore and you want to clean it out, you just pull the cotton out. When you pull the cotton out, dry fire it a couple times. Do not dry fire it with the cotton in. Cotton will catch fire. This is not being easy right here. Get all the way through the build and have trouble with the wick. Come on. There we go. Alright. Apologize. This is the only part difficult about working with cotton and microcoils, but you get used to it. Let's try this again. There we go. But will it go all the way through? No, it won't. Of course not. Why would it? There we go. Pull it through. Make sure you get a nice, good amount of cotton in there. touching all of your wick, or all of your coils. And then cut, and cut. Clean that one up a little bit. I'm just going to take a paper clip, push it down. That way it's going to lap up, and then we'll put a little cotton cloud underneath. The cotton cloud, I just pull out a little tuft and kind of open it up. Don't want it too tight. You don't want to put too much in there, you'll clog up the airways. Alright. Let me just kind of tuck that in and put that cloud underneath your coils. So catch a little bit more juice, allow a little bit better wicking. Bear with me here, folks. We're almost done. And I have dinner waiting for me and I'm hungry. So, put this in there. Alright, so there you go. That's the build. We got our cotton, got our 4 micro coils firing at 0.3. Each one of those coils is about 1 ohm, except for that one. That one didn't come out so hot, but you know, just because I'm worried about that, I'm going to stick another little cotton cloud right here because I got a little hot spot. It looks like that will happen here. You know, you got to be extra careful since you got so many wires running around in here. The tendency for hot spots is pretty big. I like to throw cotton in between everything just to cover all my bases. Alright, so here we go. Some 6mm pink starburst juice. This is about a 20 PG, 80 VG. So, filling my cotton nice. This back on. Now, normally with microcoils you want, you know, your air hole to be right on top, but with these I kind of put them in the middle just to give it the most amount of air. Let's move you up so you can see the drip tip. Let me get a better. Uh-oh, that sucks. Sorry about that. Get a better battery. Because this battery is pretty dead. And we'll see how this thing fires. Overdripped. A little too much juice in there. Boil that stuff out. There we go. That's better. Not too bad. It's a hot vape, but it's not as bad. The last time I did one of these, it did come out to 0.2, and whew, that was pretty killer. Alright, so there you go. Sorry about the length of the video, but there you go. It's how to build a quad microcoil with cotton on your IGO-W. Vape on.